Hi, I'm Pamela, and welcome to Green Stick Cottage, where I knit and crochet whenever the cats allow me to. They are, I should say, and make a video when they allow me. I have two cats in season, so it may get loud. They are both wanting to be right next to me, so that's where they are. And they're wiping their face on everything they can find. Their faces, and they are making their chirrup noises and things like that. So you might be hearing that as we go along. So I'm going to go over what I have finished since my last video. The first thing is the flashpoint hat. So this one I was making with, I should have got this out, mandala, Lion Brand mandala in Cupid colorway, and it currently my cake kind of turned into this. So I didn't like the white that was on the inside pole, so I didn't cut it though, just in case by the time I get to the end of the cake I might want to use it. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm pulling from the outside of the cake, and it's just gradually morphed, you know, from it was like this, but now it's just gradually gotten bigger. So that's what I used here. It's getting lighter. The pink is getting lighter, but here it was still kind of a dark pink. And so that is Lion Brand mandala, which is a number 3 weight and 100% acrylic. And so this used to be, the cake used to be this wide as the label, and I've gotten 2 hats made from that cake so far. So this is the second flashpoint hat, and so this is knit in a brioche stitch, and it is which one of the great things about brioche stitch is that it is reversible. And this flashpoint pattern is by Knitting Apprentice. I found it on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. Oh, and the blue, the baby blue color I used here is Bernat Baby Sport, which is also a number 3 weight yarn. And so let me show the other side of the hat. Boy, my hair looks terrible. I'm still treating my hair with these greasy treatments for my damage, my severe chlorine damage to my hair, and so I'm having to put that on every day. But here's what the blue side looks like. And so you can wear it either this way, like a slouchy hat, or you can fold the brim up like I was wearing it and wear it like that. So it works either way. So that's going to go into my little backpack, Dollar Tree backpack gift bag, and that will be heading to my granddaughter, who is the recipient of this hat, tomorrow. And I've got her card tucked in here. I still need to write on it and sign it and get it and seal it up and get it all ready to mail. Okay, that's Rosie shaking the computer there, so I'm gonna have to do something with her. All right, so that is the flashpoint hat, and I used a US4. I used US4 3.5 millimeter knitting needles for that hat, and I used 2 16-inch circular knitting needles, knitting in the round on that. So let's see, and there's just one size for that pattern, and it, you know, it worked on me, so I'm pretty sure it'll work on her. Nope, you're gonna have to go, Rosie, if you can't behave. So there you go. Oh, and she's back. If she would just like get in my lap or something, it would be all right. But she just wants to wipe her face all over the computer cart, and so I'm not happy about that. All right, let's move on. I also have a Sappho, a started and finished object, and I think last time I already showed my this is the Joyful Kitties MCal Mystery Knit Along. This is in garter stitch with intarsia, and the first step to this knit along was this coaster, which is 4 by 4 inches. And okay, I had to do something with her again. Anyway, so by finishing this and posting it on Ravelry, I got the code for the next part of the MCal, which I'll be showing shortly. And that's the way this MCal goes, which is why I decided to do it, because not only because Joyful Kitties, there's kitties involved, but also because it is paced like this, and you can't, unless you want to pay for it, you can't get the next part of the knit along until you complete the current part. So I completed this part, and then I got the second part, which I'll be showing later. All right, so, but that is not the started and finished object. This is. So when I went to get the second part of the mystery knit along and download that so I could start on it, I discovered she had just started an MCal called Happy Cats, and that's MCal MCAL, so it's a mystery crochet along, and this is the coaster, so it's following the same formula. And so this is the coaster, the crocheted coaster, and this is the knitted coaster here. So I made them exactly the same with leftover yarn with little red hearts, and I've been using them to put my drink on and stuff. So I got a little finish there, and I have an almost FO here. This is a Poppet Octopus, and I will try to put one of my previous ones up here, a picture up here. No. And she's right back. She just gets right back up. I don't mind if she's up here as long as she's not pushing on the cart, but it's just, she just seems to want to wipe her face on everything, put her scent everywhere. So this is almost finished. I have all of the legs or arms, whatever you call, the 8 appendages on an octopus. I have those all attached, and I'm doing the edging all around these appendages, and I only have these 3 appendages left to go. And so almost finished object. This also is reversible, so here's what the other side looks like, and this is why it's called a Poppet Octopus, because you pop it and then you can show the other face, which I don't know, maybe I should have used black for the face because of the multicolored yarn, but too late now because I've got it put together. And then you can pop the little appendages to put the bubbles on top on this side. So anyway, I love the Poppet Octopus. This is a pattern by those yellow things, I think is the name. Let me look and see and be sure. She goes by Emily Ann on Ravelry, and I think it's called Poppet Octopus Fidget Toy, or Reversible Fidget Toy maybe. But if you look up Poppet Octopus, you'll find it on Ravelry. and again, a free pattern. And it's what I love about this pattern. I can't even remember how many I've made of these. But what I love about it is there's no sewing, no stuffing. It's like amigurumi without stuffing or sewing. And everything is crocheted. So you crochet all the appendages first, then you crochet the two heads or bodies and heads. She calls it a body in the pattern. And and then when you do the second body, you turn the first body inside out, put it in there, and then you slip stitch through all 3 layers. But you put the appendages between the 2 bodies, and you slip stitch all the way around, and then you do the edging. So that's the very last thing, is the edging, which is what I'm still doing. I didn't get it quite done yet. So that is that almost finished Poppet Octopus, and I'm using an E4 3.5 millimeter hook for that. It's about 6 inches tall and 6 inches wide when I measured a previous one. I'm using Mainstays 100% acrylic, and in this case with this one I used purple and pink multi. So those are the 2 colors I used. And so I think that's all the particulars on that. And we'll move on to the next thing, which is a whip. So those are all my finishes and almost finished thing. And next is the my granny square blanket, which began as a crochet along with Connie at Just Another Stitch. It officially ended December 31st, but I'm still working on mine. And that's why I said with the Joyful Kitties MCAL that it's a good MCAL for me, because I am motivated to finish the parts so I can get the next part. And so hopefully I can stay on time with it. We're going to see, because the second part that I'm going to be showing you takes a lot longer, and since I'm doing multiple projects at a time, not to mention cross-stitch projects, it's anybody's guess if I'm going to do it. So, but for the granny square blanket that I'm making, I'll put a photo up here of all the colors. I've already finished all the granny squares that are in color, and the final granny squares are all in black. So here's the stack of the 7 round granny squares, all 23. I finished all 23 of the 7 rounders. I still got to weave in the ends, but I figure I'll do that when I finish all the squares. So all 23 are done. I'm really happy about that. That's very exciting for me to get that far. And I'm only halfway through 2024, and this was supposed to be done the last day of 2023. All right, so then I went on, after I finished all 7 of those, to do the 3 round squares. And I need 14 of these, and this is a stack of 10. So I only have 4 more of the 3 rounds to go before I can start joining, and we can see the blanket come together. So I'm really excited, getting close, but I don't want to work on it exclusively because I have my deadline projects plus the Joyful Kitties, so which is also a blanket. So I love blankets. So anyway, so that's the progress on that, and which I'm just calling the granny square blanket. And so part 2 of the Joyful Kitties, let me see if I can get in there and get that. Put Poppet Octopus up there. And Joyful Kitties is living in this beautiful butterfly backpack. that I got on clearance at Walmart. These make great project bags, you know, for and this one is an older one that I had that's tie-dyed. And this used to be my purse, but I got this one with the kitty corns on it, cats that have a unicorn horn. And so I put this with the project bags. So that's where my deadline project goes when I'm working on it. So here in the butterfly backpack, the pink butterfly backpack, I have, so this is where I'm storing the Joyful Kitties, and I have various little Notion pouches that I use for projects in my project bags, and this one's all unicorns. And so part 2 of the Joyful Kitties MCAL is a 16-inch pillow. And so you do the front and the back, and you put the pillow form, 16-inch pillow form in there, and sew it all up. And so when I get this needs to be finished, I believe, by, I didn't write it down. I wrote it on Ravelry, but anyway, I think the next part comes out on February 2nd. So I need to finish my pillow by February 1st if I want to get started right away on one of the blocks for the blanket. It'll be the first block for the blanket coming out on February 2nd. By the way, this pattern, Joyful Kitties MCAL, is by Sherry Marie Leck on Ravelry. And she has a group called Craft Designs for You, which is where we're talking about our stuff. Now mine is a very scrappy one. You're supposed to just use a dark purple as the background here. I did use, I kind of modified the colors of the cat a little bit. The light gray is supposed to be the ears, but since my light gray was kind of a bluish gray, I used that for the eyes and used the dark gray because the dark gray was supposed to be the eyes. And I used my dark gray, which is Red Heart Super Saver Gray Heather. That's the only yarn in this that I know exactly what brand and what color it is, because I got that out of my own stash. Otherwise, I'm using these little balls of yarn that I got, given to me. And so they're unidentified, they don't have labels, but they all feel acrylic. So I got my pillow front finished with the little kitty on there. And she modeled this after her cat named Misty. And I also have a cat named Misty, so that was, but my Misty doesn't look like this. But her Misty was the inspiration for this pillow front here. Now the pillow back is the back of this cat. Okay, so that's going to be fun. And so I don't know, I don't know how scrappy this is going to get, because I'm going to have to, when I run out of the purples that I got out of that big tote full of yarn, I'm going to have to dig into my own totes full of leftover yarn and see how many purples I have left in there. And if I use all of those up, I'll have to start buying purple. So I don't know. But for now, I'm using the leftovers and the scraps. And so that's what that was. And I told you. And I'm using size 6, 4mm, and size 8, 5mm knitting needles. I'm using circulars for that. All right, so I got all the particulars off of that project card. And anyway, I'm just loving it. I love doing the garter. It's all garter stitch with intarsia, and that's why we practiced, with the coasters. And so we would be ready to do the kitties. So, and I'm pretty sure each block of the blanket has a kitty on it like this. But since history, we'll have to wait to find out. So I cut my end here really super long and wound it into a ball so I would have plenty of yarn to sew up the pillow. So that's the Joyful Kitties. And next, so this is another new start. And let me see if I can get this put away before Rosie has her way with it. So the Happy Cats Mystery Crochet Along by Sherry Marie Luck. I am doing that one with blues as the background color, and so it's very scrappy as well. And so the pillow, and I think this one I have until, it's a little further into February, a week or two into February, for the before the first block of the blanket comes out. So here's how far I am on the Happy Cats pillow. And as you can see, I've got smaller balls of blues that I'm using. And I'm just attaching. When one ball runs out, I attach another ball. And these are blankets for me. So I love scrappy. So it'll work out great for me. And this cat has a purple collar instead of an aqua or whatever that greenish color was. And so as soon as I finish Poppet Octopus, I'll try to finish this front, the rest of the pillow front here. And anyway, I love these. I love the whole kitty theme and happy cats and joyful kitties. I love it all. And this is what my balls that are attached to this pillow look like. And again, it's all unknown acrylics that were in a tote that was brought to our handcrafters group. And I just took what was left because I wanted to bring the tote home because I need totes for my craft room. But in the bottom were all of these leftover balls that nobody wanted, and so I kind of divvied them up between light blue, light purple, dark purple, and then whatever the colors are for the cats as each piece comes along, as each part comes along for the knit along and crochet along. So that's 2 cat blankets in progress. All right, so that's what I've been working on. Now, I had a Joanne haul, and let me tell you, I read recently that Joanne was in danger of going into bankruptcy, and I'm not surprised. I did get my whole order, but it came in 4 packages, and it was only 15 skeins of yarn. So I was looking for yarn they were having their, what was it, Yarnormous sale or something on yarn, and I needed more yarn to make 2 more flashpoint hats. So I put some of them in here. This is I did get this bag at Joanne years ago. This is my One Cat Short of Crazy bag, big tote bag. And boy, does it apply today with these 2. Rosie's just wallowing around all by my legs here. So anyway, I needed yarn to make the upcoming flashpoint hats for my teenage granddaughters. And so I decided to make them flashpoint hats like the adult granddaughters, instead of the princess hats with the ringlets like my younger, granddaughters. So the first one coming up, she likes red and black. So I ordered Karen Simply Soft. Here's the thing. I should probably preface this with this story that happened. When I went looking for yarn, The flashpoint hat pattern calls for number 3 weight yarn. And of course, there's, at my Walmart, the only number 3 weight yarns are the mandala cakes. And those are multicolored. And so I didn't think they would, I couldn't find anything that would have, none of them had red and black in them. So I went online, I looked on Joann's, I looked at all their number 3 weight yarn. None of them had they might have a red that was acceptable, but they wouldn't have a black. Or vice versa, they'd have black, but they wouldn't have an appropriate red. So I thought, Karen Simply Soft is thinner, is a thinner number 4 weight. So maybe I can get away with it if I use the same size needles and, knitting the brioche stitch. And maybe it'll work out all right. So my first mistake is I didn't check in my craft room because I had 2 full skeins of Karen Simply Soft in black plus a couple of partial skeins. So I had plenty of black, so I didn't need to order 2 more blacks, but that's what I ordered. And this one is Harvest Red, and I think the 2 of those look great together. I think she'll love it. So that's what I have is, and I got 2 skeins to make sure I had plenty, and so that'll be hers, and her younger sister, she likes green and purple. So I did not have any of this in my craft room, these colors. So this one is just called purple. And this one is Kelly green. All right. And they're not showing up as vibrant as they are in person. But I really love them in person. It reminds me of grapes, of course. And I think that's one of the poppet octopuses I've shown in a photo up here is hers, which is also green and purple. So we'll see how that works out. So I got 8 skeins, 2 of each of these 4 colors of Karen Simply Soft in my order. But they came piecemeal, like I said, 4 packages to get all 15 skeins that I ordered to me, and it did all get to me. But I don't know why they split the orders up like that. So in order to get free shipping, because these didn't add up quite to enough to get the free shipping, I went ahead and added 7 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver in Monet, which is my favorite multicolored Red Heart Super Saver, Monet. And I have an upcoming project that I'm going to be working on. I've got a lot of it worked out on paper, and I've talked about it before. I call it my mom coat because it is made out of granny squares that my mother left behind when she died. And they have a lot of this Monet yarn in them. And but when I originally made the coat, I weighed a whole lot, at least a couple 100 pounds more than I weigh now. And probably more like 250 more. But anyway, so it's way too big for me now. So I'm going to take the squares apart and reconnect them into a smaller shape that will fit me currently. And hopefully after I've got like 20 more pounds to lose. So I figured stocking, since they have not discontinued Monet, that's what I was afraid of. But when I saw that Joann had it, I thought, well, I'm going to finish my order with as many skeins as I need to get up to the free shipping. So that took 7 skeins. I still have some leftover Monet here. In fact, these 2 little balls came in that same tote that was brought to my handcrafters group at the library. So I recognized it right away, and I did grab everything I could find in this color. And that was just these two little balls. So now, also, I think 7 skeins is going to be more than I need to connect all the squares in my mom coat. I'll try to put a picture up there of that coat as it was when I originally completed it. And but now, Connie at Just Another Stitch, she's also hosting a weight loss make-along where you make a fitted garment, so not like a scarf or a shawl, you know, but more like a top or a skirt or, you know, cardigan, something like that. And you make it in a smaller size than you are, or maybe, and so in my case, anyway, so what happened is I measured in between sizes, so I chose the smaller size, and I started, I'll post a picture up here, I started a top. I started knitting a cotton top, and I'm too small for it now. It's taken me so long. I haven't even finished the front of that top, and it's in a beautiful mint green color. I love it, but there's no reason in going on with it because the size that I started knitting is too big for me now. So I'm going to make it for my goal size, you know, my goal weight size. I'm going to make something else. And so I thought, well, since I have to start over anyway, and I just got 2 beautiful patterns from Jennifer Steingass. She has beautiful patterns. Anyway, I got 2 pullover patterns. I'll show what is I can't remember the name of the second one. Oh, it starts with an A, but I'll put that one up here. And the other one is called The Storyteller. And I'm thinking of doing, you know, starting that pullover as my weight loss make-along project, just starting completely over. And these are knitting patterns. And so The Storyteller, hopefully I put that up there. I just love it. And I love both of the patterns I got. I want to make both of them, of course. And so I thought, you know, with 7 skeins of Monet, I'll probably have plenty left over after I finish the mom coat. And so I went and looked at the Red Heart coordinate. I downloaded the Red Heart coordinates list back in the day. And I went and looked at it, and there's 4 colors that they say coordinates with Monet. I can't remember them all, but the first one is pale yellow. And I would ordinarily be more attracted to the blue. Let me put this close. To the blue or the purple in here. But I suspect, because I could not find pale yellow or the light periwinkle, which is the blue, I could not find those on Joanne when I was ordering this yarn. And so I can't remember what the other 2, I think one of them was light orchid or something. There may have only been 3. So, but I thought, I think I have some pale yellow in my leftover yarn. And sure enough, I did. So I have, they're all, you know, they look like, 3 of them look like full skeins, but they're really not. When you squish them, they're not hard. This is the only one that might be an almost full skein, and it doesn't have the label, but I'm pretty sure, oh, the label is here. It must have just, yeah, it came apart. So it is pale yellow. So this one might be either a full skein or almost a full skein. These 2 are definitely too squishy to be full skeins. And this one has reached the floppy stage. So But maybe between the 4 of them, maybe I will have enough pale yellow to make the storyteller pullover. Now, I'm trying to decide, should I make it with the pale yellow and chance I don't have enough of being the main color, and having Monet as the little, parts on the yoke, or, I probably have enough, and since Monet is still being manufactured, it's not discontinued, it's still available on at Joann, so maybe I could make this the main color and make the little yoke accents in the yellow. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that and see what I think. But anyway, I was glad I found that pale yellow, because I think that would be interesting for me, because I'm not really a big yellow fan. I do love my yellow and green blanket here, but that's probably the first thing I've ever made for myself in yellow. And so having a yellow sweater, I think that, I don't know. So that's kind of something I'm kind of kicking around in my plans, trying to decide. So that's all my Joann haul, plus more talk about the plans. And so yeah, 2 more Flashpoint. Well, these 2 Flashpoint hats coming up with the green and purple and the red and black. But more immediately, as soon as I finish Pop It Octopus, I'll be doing another Flashpoint. And that one is going to be using the same Cupid colorway of Lion Brand Mandala. And this time it's also Bernat Baby Sport. But it is, what are they calling this one? Lavender. Because this granddaughter loves purple and pink. So, and these are my Knit Picks needles that I use to make these hats with. One of them is the birch wood, and one is the nickel plated. And they're both size 4 US. And I already forgot what that is in millimeters. So that's that project. That'll be coming right up. That'll be my next deadline project. And so that's my plans. Now, on my radar, and this is kind of interesting and hopefully fun for you like it was for me. I have been reading this book. I've shown it before, Knit the Sky. And it is by Leah Redmond, or maybe it's just Lee. Anyway, she's the designer of the Sky Scarf, which was popular about 10 years ago, maybe a little more, where you go out and you look at the sky. I think it's called concept knitting. I'm not sure. I know there's a special name for this, like all temperature projects, temperature blankets, temperature scarves, all of those are called this kind of knitting. I just don't remember what it is. I'm just going to call it concept knitting for now. And so this book, it not only has the Sky Scarf, which is where you go out and look at the sky every day, and you knit, a portion of the scarf in that color. And so it's mostly blues and grays. And so that's why she named the book Knit the Sky. And so I've been reading through it, and it is full of this type of knitting, all different kinds of ideas. And one of the ones that I thought I would do, but I decided against it, was my youngest daughter is pregnant, and she is due in May. And so I thought this project here, let me find it. Well, here's the sky. Here's some examples of the Sky Scarf. You can see from different locales, Copenhagen, Oakland. Anyway, I think that's really neat. So that's like a different take on the temperature scarf. I made a temperature scarf in 2013. I don't know if I think I've shown that on these videos before. But I like this project. Is called Bundle of Joy. And as you can see, you follow the same concept as the sky scarf, but you make little squares each day. Once you find out a baby is coming, you track the sky every day and knit those colors, and until the day it's born. So the baby will eventually, when it gets older, will know what the sky looked like each day when it was in the womb and could not see the sky. So I thought that was such a neat idea. But I decided against that because I couldn't remember when I found out she was expecting the baby. And another one here is like every time you go buy a gumball machine, you get gumballs, and then you knit socks in the colors of your gumballs, and you just add another stripe. So that's the kind of thing that's in here. These kind of projects. And another one I really liked was what was that one? I think anyway, it's called Mood Ring. Yes. And so you assign colors. So this is kind of like if you follow K&K Crochet, that last year they did a mood project. A blanket or a scarf, and it was a crochet along. And so anyway, in this case, she here in the book, she assigns certain colors to certain moods, and then you and she calls it a ring because it's a cowl, COWL. So, or a neck warmer. And so you knit the colors of your mood that day, and then you end up with a nice neck warmer with all these different colors. So I thought that was a great idea too. But a couple nights ago, I read this section, which is called Monster Under Your Bed. And this book is beautifully illustrated as well. You've probably seen that already. And so she tells a story, and with each one of these, she kind of tells a story about how she thought of this. In this case, the monster under the bed from when we're kids, we can turn that around. Like in the case of adults, when we have insomnia, that's kind of like a monster, because we need our sleep. And so her proposal was to have a monster, or some kind of project under the bed or next to the bed or whatever. And if you end up sleepless in the middle of the night, you don't turn the lights on because that might make you more wakeful. Just pick up your knitting and make sure it's very mindless knitting. In this case, she proposes garter stitch, which is, what the, Joyful Kitties MCAL is. And because you can do it in the dark. You can hopefully do it in the dark. And I thought that's an awesome idea, because I end up, when this happens to me, when I wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, I end up getting out my Kindle, which at least it doesn't have a backlight, but it does have a light, and it, it's not, I think the garter stitch would be more like counting sheep. It'd be it's very meditative, and anyway, so it might be more conducive to sleep. Also, I have vision threatening conditions that I don't know how long I will have the vision that I have, because they are, progressive conditions. So I had already thought about this, that knitting is probably the last craft I'll be able to do if I keep losing my vision, because I can knit almost always by feel, unless it's a very complicated lace pattern. Even the brioche I'm able to pretty much mostly do by feel, but I like looking at it because I love the way it looks and feels. So I thought, yeah, garter stitch is definitely something I can do in the dark, and I don't have to look at it. And it's a great thing to do while you're watching, TV, movies, YouTube, whatever, because you don't have to look at it very often. And if it's all one color, I definitely don't have to keep, messing with it other than just knit, 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 turn, knit, 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 knit. So I remembered a project from a while back, a few years ago, and it was called the Butterfly Shawl. And I was very large at that time, and it was getting too big. And this was a crocheted shawl, and I found this beautiful Red Heart Super Saver colorway called Butterfly. So it almost seemed, it seemed kind of, foreordained or something, because I just absolutely love this colorway, and it's called Butterfly. So I don't know if this is all I have left, or if I have more skeins stashed somewhere. I'll have to find out. I don't know if Red Heart even makes it anymore, but I do have this much of the shawl. This was a circular shawl, and so basically you fold it over to wear it, I guess, and it just was not working out. But this is how much I got done. This is folded over, and there were some problems with this because this is a very busy, colorful colorway, and it's also a very intricate pattern, crochet pattern. So the pattern got lost in this much, riotous color, although I love riotous color. So I put this away, and it was hibernating all these years, but I immediately thought of it when I thought of doing a garter stitch throw. She suggests a garter stitch throw, and which I call a blanket, because everything to me is a blanket. And I'm going to, if it's a blanket for me, which this would be, excuse me again, I'm going to make it as tall as I am. So this is what I'm tossing around, is just unraveling this, frogging this and starting over. I don't know what would be quicker, to frog this whole big thing, which is like a monster, for the monster under the bed, or to undo this skein and start winding from the end of the skein and unraveling this as I knit, but one way or the other. So that's my first idea for this garter stitch in the middle of the night concept. And the other idea is dishcloths. You can also do those with garter stitch. In that tote with all the leftover yarn that I've been using for the Joyful Kitties and Happy Cats crochet along and knit along, there was some cotton yarn, including this cone, so I could make dishcloths as well. So these are on my radar. This monster under the bed idea is I'm kicking around about that. So you may see these kind of things pop up in the future, but that's as far as I am on those. So I'm going to try to finish the the Happy Cats pillow front, and the 4 3-round granny squares for my granny square blanket, and finish the pop at Octopus so I can start the next flashpoint hat with purple and pink. So those are the things right on my radar. I also have cross stitch projects in the same. In the cross stitch floss tube world, we have Whip Go. I'm thinking of doing something, you can use Whip Go for any endeavor that you're involved in. So I'm thinking about making a Whip Go card for Yarny projects as well, but I'm trying to keep it small right now because of the deadline projects. And so I'm probably just going to stick with those 3 blankets. In addition to the deadline project, like reward myself when I finish a portion of a deadline project, reward myself with working on one of the kitty cat blankets or the granny square blanket. And so I've been kind of alternating those, rotating those with the deadline project. So I might just stick with that plan for now and think about Whip Go for next year. I am doing Whip Go for my cross stitch projects. So I'll see how I like it by the end of the year. All right. So that's all I have for today. Here's one more little look at Rosie that you've been hearing this whole time, and you've been watching the shaking of the screen thanks to her. She's usually a sweetheart, but she's very aggressive when she's in this condition. All right. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.